everybody out there, Anthony Romeo coming at you today on WiseUp. Folks, I cannot thank you enough for listening to what we're bringing at you. Educational knowledge drops on layer one infrastructure, supporting data centers, office space, hospitals, you name it. If you have a phone, you have a laptop, you have the needs for the products that we're bringing to you on WiseUp. The folks at WiseUp want to thank you all for taking the time to listen to our podcast. I can't believe that we're taping the amount of episodes that we have, and you keep listening and we keep sharing. So thank you so much. I really greatly appreciate it. Today we have a phenomenal guest, and I say this because I just had a solid conversation with Jason Chesla from Platinum Tools. They're making connections easy. That's what we're talking about today. Many people know Platinum Tools for the EZ RJ45 connectors, but there's a variety of things that they're bringing to the table to the contractor community that we serve. At Wise Components, we know firsthand as an authorized distributor of Platinum Tools, we love to have products in hand, feel, touch, and sell to the contractors, and for a number of years we've done so. And since 1997, Platinum Tools has brought quality to the table. So I assure you that for this episode of WiseUp, Jason is going to do the same thing by highlighting all the product ads that they bring to the table at Platinum, both old and new. So without further ado, Jason, welcome, and thanks for joining us on WiseUp.
Well, thanks a lot for having me today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, it's a pleasure. So Jason, as a national account manager for Platinum Tools for the last 4 years now, what gets you out of bed in the morning, other than a paycheck? What excites you about working at Platinum Tools, and what are you bringing to the table to your customers?
Yeah, well, I think what excites me is the opportunity to help a lot of customers out there, cable techs that have certain installs that they need assistance on, either from termination of cables, prepping cables, to testing the cables. So there's a lot of different aspects of the install that we can help out with, and that really is a kind of a driving force that keeps me going.
So cost-effective, quality solutions you're bringing to the aid of the contractor. Some of the things that we were talking about in previous, prior to a COVID world, we'd be working face-to-face, seeing each other and shaking hands, but right now we're forced to work in the comforts of our home in a safe working manner. So hope everybody out there is doing the same and keeping safe distance. It is scary, but business needs to continue, right? And as it is continuing, people are still building out data centers, still building out office space. As a matter of fact, I looked at a current office move the other day in the New York tri-state area, and it's millions of square feet that are going on. So there's going to be needs for expansions of banks, hospitals, educational facilities, because they weren't equipped for what was to come. So now with that said, you're hearing so many different things about intelligent lighting and things like that for directional. So not just a sign saying, hey, you're 6 feet apart, but a lighting platform to say, okay, just like on the airplanes, this is the exits, this is the entrance, and do not come within certain party seats. And it's great in theory, these things are working, but how do you get it done? How do you turn the screws and make it work is what companies like you are bringing to the table, helping with the PoE initiative that's out there. So with that said, Jason, what are some of the things that you talk about on the PoE side?
On the PoE, yeah. So we see that's a huge growth area. We get a lot of interest from users out there from, like you said, the lighting side for PoE on the RJ45 connectors. They're transitioning a lot of these systems. It's a bit lower cost, so they're able to run everything right over those Ethernet cables. And we have some great RJ45 connectors that they use for easy and fast termination to get that done.
Yeah, excellent. So that's all you guys do is just easy connectors, right?
Yeah, that's what we're known for. I mean, we've been selling EZ RJ45 connectors for over 20 years. We actually redesigned that connector a couple of years ago, where we have the new EZ connector, which actually works on a larger range of sized cables. Because as you know, when you're dealing with the category cables, they can range in sizes from from the Cat 5, Cat 6A, Cat 7,
Yeah,
large range.
Different ODs, absolutely.
Yep.
And then everybody's coming, it was smaller OD, smaller OD, smaller OD.
Yeah, it goes back and forth. For a while there, everything was getting really big, and now everything's going back, getting really small. So, you definitely need to have a connector that can cover the full range of the different cables out there. And nowadays, you can't just look at the cable as a Cat 5 or a Cat 6 and then just pick out a Cat 6 connector for that cable. You actually have to look at the cable specifications. What is the cable outer diameter and what is the insulation diameter of those conductors, because the insulation diameter is what really changes on every manufacturer's cable. There's a wide range of adjustments, and we have a couple cool tools that you can use either on our website, or we actually have a neat wiring gauge that you can use to identify the right connector really fast for your cable.
No, and your website, it does have a variety of different products and solutions, and that's platinumtools.com for you, those who are listening. Connectors, crimpers, testers, structure wire, punch down, cutters, strippers, lines and tigers and bears.
Yeah.
Oh my, really, you guys have a lot. I mean, it's amazing the extensive list of quality products that your company does bring to the table. So we're happy to be a part of that. And what's a big one that you're seeing a lot of great success with the contractor or just the client community in general?
Well, one of the products, and I kind of briefly talked about it just now, our EZ RJ45 connector. It's the new. It's actually a POE rated. It's the only POE rated pass-through connector, so you can fast and easily terminate a cable by sliding those conductors through the cable, and you can verify your wire sequence is correct. And it's the only one that's rated up to POE plus out there on the market. So this has been a very popular one. We're getting, telecoms are transitioning over to this connector. We're seeing it throughout all the, general contractors out there are switching over to this style connector because, like I said, it covers a large range of cables, and then they know it can handle the voltages that they need on those cables.
Right. Yeah, and I know we spoke about lights, but I was just reading an article the other day about from Fierce Electronics talking about single pair Ethernet standards means goodbye to battery world. And they were saying how, everything is going to be needed over PoE. So less and less, batteries or AC and more low voltage structured cable to power smart buildings. And
Right.
I know on previous episodes of WiseUp, we spoke to some other cable manufacturers, and the streamline, the message that's been consistent is that smart buildings save money, plain and simple. And whether it be the lighting platform or the digital signage that is going to be powered, and the kiosks that are going to have to say when you can or can't go into a facility, because now we're seeing with the COVID world, and we're going to be reducing the footprint drastically in some cases. And I know reading trade news with Cushman Wakefield, CBRE, JLL, they were all talking about what the office of the future looks like, and it's great. Like I remember a meeting that I was in with architects one time. It was like, oh, we'll put this there, that there, and nobody talked about how it's going to work.
Right.
And now people are, to where I'm seeing it in kind of conversations with people, are understanding there's magic behind the walls. It's not magic behind the walls. There's actual layer one infrastructure that's connected to serve power and communications to that.
Right.
So you can't just have a digital sign in the middle of the lobby, in this elaborate lobby, let's say in LA or New York City or Chicago. It has to be powered. And then the misconception a lot of times is, oh, it's wireless, so you don't have to worry. There's no wires, there's no no puppet strings here. But the reality is, companies like you are making a killing, let's just be honest, because people are saying, hey, I have POE rated and now POE plus. This is a big thing, and this is great that you bring it to the table. So with the EZ connector, I know that's one half of it. You know, you talk about the variety of different tools and assortments of products that you bring to the table, crimpers and whatnot. The net chaser, I know we mentioned in passing.
Right.
What are some of the key benefits to products like that?
Well, like as we talked about with the prepping of the cables and termination of the cables, it doesn't matter how many years a technician's been out in the field. And I know they all think they do, their work correctly, every single time, but people do make mistakes. And one of those mistakes is easily the highest, the biggest problem we see on a cable, if there's a failure on a cable, it's the termination of the connector on the cable. Right. For over 80% of the time, that's what it is. So you always want to have, I just have one here with me, like a basic cable verifier.
You just happen to have it. You sleep in
I just happen to have it. Yeah, I have it sitting around the house. You want to have that cable verifier or continuity tester to be able to test both ends of the cable to make sure that your connection, you terminated both ends the same and correctly, right? Because you want to eliminate those callbacks later on. And that's great. You can use a continuity tester, all day long. But there's going to be some instances where there's going to be certain issues on a cable where there's like going to be too harsh of a bend. There could be some interference with, some power lines, electrical lines, 110-volt lines running alongside of them. There's different things like that where a product like the Net Chaser, which I just happen to have right here too, it'll be able to detect some of these issues. It actually can run what we call a bit error rate test, a BERT test, and that's actually running a data packet over the cable from the main unit to a remote unit on the other end up to 1 gigabit in speed. And you can actually change the sizes of those packets that run over the cable. So the technician, if he doesn't need to go out to a job and they're not asking for a specific cable warranty, and they don't have to run a frequency-based test like with a full-blown cable certifier, they can use something like this that is much more cost-effective for him to have with multiple of his techs to have one of these instead of, they might share a cable certifier within the crew, right, but they'll each be able to carry one of these and be able to have a full test report of all the cable tests that they've run and tested and be able to verify, hey, we've tested each one of these runs, they can handle up to 1 gigabit in speed. Then it can do, it can do the continuity test. So if there's a break in the line, it'll tell you how far down the line the break is, or if there's a short, it'll tell you how far down the line the short is. So there's a lot of great advantages of having a product like this and really eliminates those callbacks, which costs them a lot of money.
Well, yeah, and you bring that up. So like one half of the contract community is saying, well, that callback, that's billable hours to me. I could be making money, but there's a lot of people out there that have, SLAs with, companies out there. Every time I send somebody out into the field, that's costing, my guys going out into the field. I'm losing them for doing that test when it's rework that is not needed. Right. So certain contractors will look at this and say, I want to go back again because I'm going to get billable hours. But then there's a lot of contractors that have that relationship with the customers that they service for a number of years, and they don't want to go back and again. They want it done quality assurance to be done right the first time, not the old expression, measure twice. I measure 3 times and cut once. It's just exactly it. It's the great approach. So. Yeah,
you definitely want to have a tool like this, at least with either each technician or within the crew that will, and the big thing is at the end of the job, the tech can, give it to the customer and say, here's all the cables I put into the job. They can have a list of all the cables, how it tested. They can see a printout of each cable test. And, the report will even have like the company logo, the customer's information. It just covers their butt in the long run. So when a customer calls back with issues, they can go back and look at the report and see exactly what they did.
No, and that's great. It's having that that ownership of the customer is then not going to go to somebody else. The customer is going to be forced to work with somebody that's provided a quality job and is making
Right.
the leaps and bounds when it's really just at their fingertips, getting the opportunity to work with quality products. Buy quality products, buy quality products from reputable sources is what we try to do. And that's what we've been trying to do since 1975, work with quality brands like yourself at Wise Components and bring that to the table to the contractors, clients, and end users that we serve.
Yeah. And also one other little thing to add, this it's made in the USA. So, all of our high-end cable testers are made in the USA. That
Nice.
connector that we talked about, the EZX, is another one made in the USA. So we have a lot of our staple products are made in the USA, and that's really important to us, especially now during this COVID time.
Yeah.
So you're not going to see a lot of the delays and stuff from overseas products. So
yeah, that's huge. I mean, but then even after in a post-COVID world, with depending on whatever administration, and not going to talk about politics, but there could be, whether it be Democrat or Republican, there could be taxations that hurt for other products being manufactured from outside the country,
right,
that serve. But with that being said, I know we covered a lot of ground in a little bit of time. Jason Chesla from Platinum Tools, thank you again for covering a lot of these products and where they serve the needs in the community that you've been doing since 1997 out of the Southern California area. I can't thank you enough. Any questions for us, or we'd love to.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for the time today, and I really have always enjoyed working with you and Chris and the crew there at Wise. You guys are a great bunch of people to work with. We've always really enjoyed it, and I look forward to my next meeting actually being able to come out and see you guys again. In-person
meetings, I'm looking forward to so much.
And if you come to California, drive up the coast and you can come see me.
Definitely, that's an idea. So, folks, this is Anthony Romeo. This has been WiseUp episode with Platinum Tools and Jason Chesla, National Account Manager for Platinum Tools. We thank you again for listening in. Be sure to tune in to WiseUp episodes. You can get them on Spotify, Anchor, Apple iTunes. Also, check out Wise Components. If you'd like to buy some of these Platinum Tools, contact your folks, your friends at Wise Components. Knowledgeable staff, courtesy to get you on-time, defect-free products where you need them, when you need them. Again, I'm Anthony Romeo, thanking everybody for wising up with me and Jason today.
Thanks.